How's it going, Pastor Andy? Coming at you with another thought of the week. As we're looking at opening everything back up, as we kind of have been opening everything back up, and we're trying to kind of find that balance of, keeping safe, and we're not going to restart this whole pandemic thing, and at the same time, allowing, again, everything to open back up. One of the things over the last several months, I don't know about you, it's just been a weird, different year. And I think we focused so much on, flattening the curve, trying to keep everybody safe. And I think we've done, a really good job at doing that. But I think one of the things that we really need to talk about this week, and something that I've been thinking about, is we focused so much on, again, flattening the curve and not wanting to spread the coronavirus that we've gone and taken it so far to where we allow other aspects to kind of fall apart. It's been great to watch the American economy go slowly back up and seeing the local economy opening back up. But I think one of the things that we really haven't talked about or focused on is the mental health of America right now. I think mental health is one of those things that even in our churches we don't really talk about. We don't really address. It's kind of one of those things that we don't really know how to talk about mental health. And as we talk about, America opening back up, and we look back over the last several months and having to be quarantined, having to live in a day and age where we can't go to the grocery store without wearing a face mask, or we might be exposed to coronavirus. And it's one of those things, like, you do it for a day or two and it doesn't really do anything. But as it kind of piles on more and more and more, it takes a mental toll on us. I don't know if it for sure has on me. I don't know about you at home, but I think something that we need to talk about is mental health after the pandemic. You know, Dealing with depression, dealing with bipolar, whatever it might be. We all handle the pandemic a little bit differently mentally. For me, I'm blessed. I think that when it comes to mental agility, that it's something that I have. It's something that I'm able to shake off fairly easily. But the thing is, I know there's people out there that don't, that have been more mentally impacted over this last year. Some traumatic event that's happened. It doesn't even have to be COVID or anything like that. We all have something from our past that has caused some sort of mental issue. And my question is, how do we as Christians deal with that? Maybe whether it's something that we're personally dealing with, or I think something that's even more important, how do we as Christians support others that are going through mental issues, that are struggling with depression? And again, and if any time this is something that you personally struggle with, there's no shame in getting help. And as Christians, that's something that we need to support. And it's something that if we personally struggle with, that we're willing to talk about it. Because I think one of the things, whether it's mental health or not, we live in this world where we want people to just magically know what's wrong with us. We live this life of, if somebody cares about me, they're just going to magically know what I struggle with. They're going to magically know what's wrong with me. And that's just not the case. We need to be open with our problems. And that's the point of the church. We're supposed to be open with other believers about our struggles, and mental health is one of those things. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, we all have the things that we're good at, the things that we can relate to. And it's important that when we are talking about our problems, that we find people that are struggling or have struggled with the same things we're struggling with, mental health being one of them. And being caring, being understanding, and wanting to help one another. Because again, that's the purpose of the church, to gather as believers, to lift each other up, to support one another, not to shame others for struggles that they might have, not to, kind of sweep it under the rug, which I think is a lot of times what we do. Somebody tells us something super deep and personal, mental health being one of those, and we're just like, oh, okay. We don't really know how to deal with that. And I think one of the biggest things as Christians that we can do is, support them, support people that are struggling with mental health, praying for them. But most importantly, knowing that you care about them and checking in on them on a regular basis, making sure that they're getting the help they need. I think one of the big things that is so important, especially in the aspect of mental health, is none of us are counselors. None of us have the training to talk with somebody that is struggling with a mental illness. And then if that's the case, making sure that you are being an accountability partner for them to where they are going and talking to somebody that is trained in mental health. After the last few months, depression, I think, is something that is going to be on the rise in America. It's kind of sad. We've protected ourselves from the coronavirus, but we haven't done anything to clean up or to address the after effects of the last previous months. So, my thought for the week, if it's something that you struggle with, find somebody to talk to. Whether they're trained or not trained. If it's somebody that's not trained, at least get it off your chest. And then link up with somebody that is trained to get you the help you need. Because there's no shame in getting mental health. In the military, that's one of the big things. There's this stigma, this mental stigma that, oh, you got to be tough all the time, that you have to stick it out, you need to toughen it up. That it's weak if you go and ask for help, and that's so far from the truth. If you're in danger of hurting yourself, if you are depressed, go find somebody right now and talk to somebody. Because it's not worth it to give into those demons inside you. Find somebody to talk to. Just get it off your chest. And if you are somebody that, again, isn't struggling, but somebody comes to you, support them, pray for them, and be an accountability partner. Check in on them on a regular basis to make sure that they are getting the help that they need with somebody that's licensed and trained and they know what they're doing. Have a good week.